Hello, 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 and welcome to the Tzeentch roster reveal. Alright, let's get this started. First off, we get Kairos Fate Leader. They talk about him, which will actually here talk about the barriers. Now, first off, I want to say with us having any other information about how the barriers work, I am afraid. I'm afraid of shield gating. If you don't know what that shield gating is, say you have the easiest way to place it is that you have 1 HP left in your shield, and the enemy attacks you for 500 damage. Now you'll take that 1 damage, which then would be 499. Some games have it transfer to your rest of your pool of your health, but shield gating means it is coded where that 499 damage just disappear. And if that is the case, and that's how the barrier works, which most games actually do it that way, that's why such things as if you heard shield gating before and didn't know what it meant, that's effectively what it means. It basically negates the damage that you actually get as long as you have a point in your shield. So that might be what barrier is, because they say this is a damaged shield that regenerates quickly outside of combat and protects against all harm, acting as effectively another health bar. So, acting as effectively another health bar, most games say this when they have a shield mechanic. So, a shield as an barrier, magical shield, energy shield, halo shield, whatever you want to say, it's effectively a second health bar. It's always been effectively a second health bar. So them stating that doesn't tell us anything. I'm hoping here they're telling us like, hey, it has an HP limit. It has a certain amount of regeneration limit. But I don't know. The fact that we can go outside and we basically um have have an HP bar that like forever regenerates, that's a problem. I see. Um I don't see it as a problem for the players. Again, it's never been about the problem players having fun and enjoying the game. My problem is when you apply this shield to Tzeentch's campaign mechanics, which you will see in either you can check out the stream or check out my video that will be released talking in sticks and stone. I mean carrot and sticks, not sticks and stones. I keep on saying stick and stones. I want to say stick and stones. Not it's carrot and sticks. Um, in that video, I talk about how strong Tzeentch is compared to Cathay, and Cathay has so many sticks, and this is just another carrot to his thing. Now, am I going to take this the worst possible way available? Yes. Or the best way possible? Yes. We only are dealing with extremes here because we don't have the numbers. So it could be either really, really, really good or really, really, really bad. And the easiest way is I can only take it one way, because if it's actually just another health bar, which means it has a limited amount of regeneration, makes it so that Tzeentch's army is not bad. But if it's unlimited, I would say if you have a 1500 HP unit and it has a shield, the barrier should be 500 health. That way, it's 1/3 of its HP pool. So in actuality, it has 2000 HP with a regeneration of 500 no matter what. That's my opinion. I think that'd be fairly fair. And this is even for multiple units. The thing is that you need it to be sort of balanced where the shield isn't just, hey, it has 15,000, it has 1500 health. Okay, Well, it also has 1,000 shield, meaning that shield is effectively unbreakable, depending on the type of unit. If the units are fast and all that, you have to imagine if you place this on a rat boy, Skaven slaves, you and you place it like as much as like maybe even half their HP that they have now, and keep their regular HP. That makes Skaven slaves that much better in tier. That makes them way better, and you would want to use them because you can effectively dig into melee a bit. Okay, that's fine. Buy a little bit. Buy a little bit. Okay, run. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. But that's what I'm afraid of, is that the shield is going to be an addition, not a split for the HP pools. Makes hit and run tactics very good, which we already know. Quickly outside of battle. How long is that timer? How long is that timer? That's all shields, but how long is that timer? Is that 1 second out of combat? Is that 0.5 second? Or is that 2 seconds? 3 seconds? 5 seconds? We don't know. Also, it's another area that can be buffed and altered through technology and skills, most of which are very powerful. Meaning, with the campaign stuff, this is already becoming like a really, really strong faction. Like, with the campaign stuff, I haven't even looked at the rest of this roster. We're still on the legendary Lord Kara's Fate Weaver. We haven't even progressed. And I can already tell you, no matter what they have in the rest of it, this is effectively the best thing that can happen. They are super strong with this stuff. Do we know what the exact stats are for the buffs and all that? No. But what I'm thinking is that it's going to increase how much HP the barrier has, maybe alters it through technology and skills, meaning what? As long as you have a barrier up, if they attack, if someone attacks you, you will reflect the damage. That's what I'm thinking, because that's a common thing with shields, is reflecting damage. Many games have it. If you have a shield, you reflect the damage. Is it that while the shield's active, you get buffs? Like, we do not know, and this is what scares me. Is that how much stronger are you making Tzeentch's faction alone, that he's possibly going to be the strongest of the factions? Like, even 2, even 1, even 3. Like, we don't know Nurgle or Slanesh yet, but he is super strong. And he's clearly the favorite amongst CA. Alright, now let's get off the barrier train and actually talk about Kara's Fate Weaver and the rest of the units. Kara's Fate Weaver has fragments of magic, allows Karos to acquire and equip fragments of other spell lores, giving him access to several spells from that lore. Only one fragment can be equipped at a time. This is really good. Honestly, this is really... I understand, like, this is Tzeentch, this is Karos. Like, even if that's just all Tzeentch legendary lords, I'll be fine with this. This sounds really fun. This seems really good. I would not say this is overpowered at all, considering if you want fire magic, cool, you can get fire magic. But if you want earth blood or vampire magic, you need to switch your fragment and lose a magic. So it allows you to switch it out for a magic for the right moment, which feels very nice. Honestly, I feel like this is in line with Tzeentch, just in general. Staff of Tomorrow. Kairo's powerful artifact allows him to reduce all of his spell cooldowns in an instant. That sounds... There's a staff, there's a magical item in 2 already, I forget what it's called, which reduces your ability cooldowns by like 30 seconds. I feel like that's just an upgraded version, which is fine. Like, whatever. He just gets it for free, though. Get a little bit for free. So I'm fine with that. That's fine. Nothing's really wowing me. Like, now, like, this, if you gave this to Kathy or Kislev or Korn or anyone, any other faction, I'd be like, yo, dog, this is dope. But I've been, like, constantly just been berated by, like, Tzeentch's, like, legitimately overpowered. Like, he's really strong for a player's aspect, which I appreciate. But compared to Cathay, they need to up Cathay. We don't have the numbers for Cathay. I will say this again, and I say in my video, we don't have the numbers for Cathay, but this is my speculations. And I don't trust CA to, like, be nice. Gaze of Fate, paralyze the units to prevent it from moving and vastly drop their melee attack. Okay, yeah, I mean, allow... Honestly, every magical legendary lord should have something like this. Honestly, this should be spread amongst everyone. Either they vastly drop a melee attack or they stop a unit's movement. That would be nice. And he can do both. Okay, let's go into lords. Exalted Lord of Change, which means it's just one-headed bird man. Okay. Basically, the only thing in here really is nothing much. It's just like saying their fierce melee combatants, Lords of Chains, are also powerful spellcasters. So they're fighting mages. We know Tzeentch's entire roster is going to be fighting mages. They get specialize, and here we go. Tzeentch's spellcasters specialize in either Lore of Metal or Lore of Tzeentch, meaning we have our 5th Lore of Magic, meaning we either are getting Nurgle's magic or Slaanesh, Lore of Slaanesh. I'm putting money on it's going to be Lore of Slaanesh rather than Lore of Nurgle, because Nurgle is just going to get Pestilence, Lore of Pestilence, which I'm not too happy about, but whatever. These spells include Blue Fire of Tzeentch, Pink Fire of Tzeentch, Treason of Tzeentch, Gleam Magic, Tzeentch Firestorm, and Infernal Gateway. To note, this is purely offensive school with 4 spells that deal direct damage and others debuffing enemies to their doom. I can't remember, they said during the video, like, they recently released about Kathy versus Tzeentch, that Tzeentch used a magic to debuff. I can't remember what it's called. I think it was one of these spells, but I'm not gonna make a big deal about them saying deal direct damage, because I'm pretty sure they said that before, and it does not mean it's a direct damage spell, as there is that specific type in the game. Tzeentch Firestorm has to be a vortex. It's bombardment. It's either bombardment or vortex. We don't know. We'll see. I think Gleam Magic and Infernal Gateway. Gleam Magic is probably a debuff spell. This could be either or. That could be either or. And I think those two are damage spells. So, nice to know that they actually tell us, like, this is purely offensive, 4 spells are damage dealing, and the other 2 are not, are just debuffs. That is nice. Please, CA, tell us more like that about the new Lords of Magic instead of making us guess. You've now seen the selection of new spell lords we have coming in Total Warhammer 2. We'll be detailing those skills. Oh. Did they give us everything? No, it was Lord Tzeentch, Yin Yang, Ice Tempest. That's only 5. There's one more Lord of Magic. Unless I missed one. They're actually, so they're gonna release something about the schools. Cool. Well, at least we're gonna get the details soon. Herald of Tzeentch, which is this guy's boy. I saw a video, just the title, talking about how mages aren't gaining mounts. These guys fly. This guy flies. They literally say this guy gets a freaking mount. Like, mages get mounts. Like, I don't know what. I don't know. It has to be something else CA said. I highly doubt they remove mounts from mages. Mounts are going to be mages things no matter what. So, okay. So, Heralds of Tzeentch, they're basically just a stable type of horror, blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. They then talk about the mounts, the Disc of Tzeentch, which is a flattened mantle-like shape. I'm pretty sure this is just. We're gonna see it. I think they have an image of it. It's just this. It's just this. It's like this. I'm pretty sure. Burns Chariot of Tzeentch. It's this, that, but with these guys on it. A little bit. So yeah, it's screamers and discs. It's probably a screamer, which is those manta things. They call them screamers. But I'm not too worried. It's just saying how cunning they are, and that's about it. It's really nothing. It was more talking about the Discs of Tzeentch in the Burning Chariot, which honestly, Burning Chariot is just what I like basically showed you. Disc of Tzeentch is a manta ray. It's those manta rays. But these guys get metal or Tzeentch choice. So skill tree basically between these two. Pretty much skill trees. These guys get Tzeentch, it sounds like. Or maybe metal. Herald of Tzeentch depends on their trade. Right now it's just sounding really good. It's like depending on their skill trees. Cult of Tzeentch. Cultist of Tzeentch. So basically he's probably our knowledge stealer. He's probably gonna spread the corruption. Makes sense. He's a fucking cultist of Tzeentch. And there's not much in this. What he's gonna do. Here is the thing that there's they have Floor Fire, which makes them almost necessary in most armies, depending on Lord of Tzeentch. As they grow in power, they can also learn to summon daemons direct from the Chaos Runes, including Great Lords of Change themselves. Meaning, yeah, no, you just get them. You just get cultists, because they will summon daemons. And you summon Great Lords of Change just for free. He gets a Chaos Steed. I'm not sure whether or not Chaos Steed would be good for him, depending on this. It depends on the Chaos Steed's speed. But other than that, yeah, it's probably really good to get him. Lower Fire, Chaos Steed might be good. This guy sounds really good. Iridescent Horror. We're not even to the units yet. But peak horrors collect magic, blah 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 blah. These horrors are masters of magical arts and powerful combatants. So horrors are really good combatants, from what I looked earlier. Their deadly skill enhanced further with the Locust magic, allowing them to greatly buff their allies at moment's notice. So they're basically Empire captains, but with Tzeentch flair on them. So they also get a magic, metal, or Tzeentch. to get mounts Disc of Tzeentch or Burning Chariot too. Meaning, hey, guess what? These guys are just like these guys, but they're heroes. So it makes a question, what is the difference between his skill tree and this guy's skill tree? Because if there's no difference, I'll just go with these guys, honestly. Instead of picking a lord for it. Tzeentch units, Blue Horrors of Tzeentch. So I will say right off the bat, these are Chameleon Stalkers from the Lizardmen. That's best way to place it is that's why I say reason why I say it is that is because while class is a melee troop, that's where its purposely lies. Blue Horrors are capable of vomiting up magic fire. This gives them an impressive first punch on charging enemy. Meaning they basically have that very low, like 3 volleys of a ranged attack that's very close, and they can shoot it. They're like miners with the charges, or there's a dwarf unit that's basically the same way with charges that throws them at very close range to hit the unit before they come in. So that's why I see these guys are doing. All damage, some basically saying, hey, they disintegrate, not flee. Which, honestly, better take. Imagine zombies with a barrier. Makes them a lot better. All of undead having barriers. Delicious. Love it. Despite their pathetic stature, when compared to their senior demons, Blue Horror is still a fearful sight, so they have fear. Basically saying they have fear. Which is, like, cool. Don't really care. Not that big a deal. Fear doesn't break stuff. It's just a push. Forsakens of Tzeentch. These are Forsaken units. They're the regular Forsaken. They're just Tzeentch's Forsaken. They are the only, as I've seen, the only dedicated melee brown units. They're the only dedicated melee unit in this roster, pretty much. Except for Chaos Knights. The basically Chaos Knights flying and the regular Chaos Knights. They have madness, so they're immune to psychology. But liable to go to frenzy, which doesn't matter. Frenzy is a benefit. So they're immune to psychology, but have the frenzy ability, which just makes them better in combat. Given their high armor, basically saying like these guys are pretty good heavy hitters, and they're tanky too. Now we get to the missile units, Pink Horrors of Tzeentch. These guys are just the pink version of these guys. I told my friend, basically, I predicted this, like, blue is gonna be melee, and pink's gonna be range, or vice versa. I didn't care what. Like, one of these guys were gonna be melee, one of these guys were gonna be range, and that's what they did. I knew it. I could tell from, like, the videos, like, that's how it was, but whatever. Basically, they vomit Hellfire spells, Magical Fire Tomb, for most other low-tier units. Also boasts greater melee capabilities than their blue cousins, making them a useful hybrid unit. Meaning, and also, this is just flavor text, like, CA, stop. They feel like they need 3 points at least for every unit, and they may throw this, like, this in sometimes. And I'm just like, stop. That tells me nothing. So, saying, these guys are already melee compats. These guys are just better. Meaning, unless you only can recruit these blue guys, go for pink. Like, it just makes range better. Exalted Pink Horrors of Tzeentch. Now, this guy honestly made me furious. Absolutely furious. Because they say something basically straight up that I hate. I hate. Which is super annoying because we don't know what these guys are, what level they recruit at. But given how Tzeentch plays, these probably get recruited very fast. So basically, they say a further upgrade in all forms of repeat horrors, which yeah, makes sense. Their concentrated warfire will outdamage even celestial dragon crossbows of Grand Cathay. The delight in magic desires will increase Wisdom magic recharge rate for the army stacked with each unit. Meaning, these guys are just good. These guys are fucking good. These guys better be tier 5 because, straight up, them being better than celestial dragon crossbows of Grand Cathay. If we look here, look, right there, that is a celestial dragon crossbow unit. I'm pretty damn sure. Pretty damn sure at that tier 5 of the Bastion, they show us it. Meaning, if that is the case, they are legitimately saying these guys are better than the tier 5 crossbow units of Grand Cathay. Meaning, these guys are fucking god tier. Now, I talked with my friend, and this makes me a little bit more. Let's hold back. Let's think about it. Let's see. Is that they might have low range and low ammo, but they don't mention it. They mention it about another unit that they have low ammo, and then they say something also alongside of it, which makes it okay. It's balanced, but these guys seem way too strong. Like, these guys better not have the range that these crossbowers have, because what matters is range in this game if you're doing range versus range, because these celestial dragon crossbows will out damage these guys because they just can't get in range. Now, with the shield, though, that's another thing, too, is that they get a shield, so they actually might be able to get in close without taking damage. And if you don't know, Celestial Dragon crossbowmen are basically repeating crossbows. Really good, sounds like. But we'll see. Like, that line right there, they're just, like, taking more of a dump on Cathay, and it doesn't feel right. Alright, let's move on to Cavalry and Chariots. Chaos Knights of Tzeentch. They're basically Chaos Knights. Only thing different is that they got a barrier. I don't know what else to say about that. They're just freaking Chaos Knights. They basically say they're just Chaos Knights. Doom Knights of Tzeentch, though. These guys are interesting. These guys are the ones on the discs that we've seen. They are neither daemon nor constructs, but nightmarish blend of the two, which just means they follow the same rule, whatever. Flying shock cavalry that are more than match for any foes, trade their ground-born cavalry allies' armor and defense for vastly superior speed and power. Strongest melee focus unit in Tzeentch's arsenal. This could all mean, like, makes Doom Knight stat probably viable. It's probably viable. You probably can have some fun with this. But we all have to see. Burning Chariot of Tzeentch. Burning Chariots are a chariot unit, straight up. They have range firepower of Exalted Flamer, which look. Exalted Flamers are these guys, but here's the Exalted version. It's just basically this guy, but upgraded. So yeah, Exalted Flamer, as mounted on the Burning Chain, this gives us this as mounted on Burning Chain is the basically saying the Exalted Flamer is the strongest anywhere in the world, more than even siege weapon. That phrase bothers me. Meaning, either they have a lot of damage, which means they're either going to overkill stuff, which I hope they overkill stuff, because they say next line, or no, they don't say here, I think it's the Exalted Flamers themselves have limited ammo, but these chariots seem really strong. Devastating energies, blah blah blah, will run out. Yep, okay, actually here it is. It will run out of power quickly, at which point it must contest foes in melee. Meaning, it has a lot of damage, but might not have a lot of ammo, which is the same in Grace. When probably fighting these guys. Combination of extremely fast, very powerful area attacks that can fly out of harm's way with ease is potent. This just means this guy's just really strong. They're just a stronger chariot. They're a flying chariot. Imagine chariots now in game, if you play the game, and by having a flying chariot. It's so good. So strong. Okay, we'll go to the Monster's Feast. Yes, fairies, just basically fucking harpies. Don't let this trick you. Imagine harpies with a barrier, basically. It might be viable then for harpies, but we'll see. Screamers of Tzeentch. Basically the manta race. Lightweight, unarmored. They are still powerful when slung in combat, acting as Tzeentch equivalent in early cavalry. Must be quick, moved in and moved out. So I'm guessing they another flavor text. That's annoying. Doesn't tell me shit unless that's like a fear effect. So sounds like the wolves, the dire wolves, the great wolves or whatever that what else have? Mostly Tzeentch and Karth have that they can summon. So that's what it sounds like unit-wise. These guys are alike, but they're flying again and with a barrier. Spawn of Tzeentch. Just Chaos Bomb, but the Tzeentch variant. Which isn't whatever. Basically it doesn't, it's just imagine Chaos Bomb with freaking barriers. It doesn't change anything. It just makes them stronger. Is all I'm saying. And I'm pretty sure they already did psychology damage. Lord of Change. So Lord of Change is a potent spellcaster. I have no idea what this guy will look like unless there's the soul grinder. Yeah, I have no idea what the Lord of Change will look like. Maybe that's Karos. We don't know. I don't know. Only thing I know is probably going to be a big guy. So sounds like he's a good melee combat. Or can't go toe to toe with Bloodthirster, but is powerful enough to lay waste to mortal formations. Probably anti-infantry unit, monstrous unit. Fully fledged spellcaster, devastating single entity monster, and flyer all in one. Handy. Basically, it's gonna be a giant bird. That's the only thing I can guess. It's a giant bird, but instead of the two heads, it's one head. can gain even more powerful spells from various campaign technologies. I mean, he gets stronger with spells, so that doesn't. This tells me he doesn't actually get spells. He gets abilities, which will be around his portrait rather than on the magic bar. So, Flamers of Tzeentch. These guys are flying boys that still output ludicrous amount of damage. These guys are like flamers. Exalted Flamer and Flamers have to be Flamer close. Not this Flamer close, like War Flame fire units. The Skaven Warp Fire throwers close, like they're close range. They're obviously close range, but they're flying, which makes it better. So they're a small unit, much like Pink Horrors, will need careful placement to ensure maximized damage, but can annihilate when placed correctly. Didn't see this before about the Pink Horrors. I'm not sure how much this phrase is good to be said, like how much weight that is, because right now we don't know the range. If the range is 80 or above, if the range isn't 40, 50, or 50, legitly Pink Horrors are good. If they do have that range, then it makes Pink Horrors a little bit more balanced with how. But we'll see. I don't know. As a later game powerful monster unit, can still hold their own in melee combat, especially after applying a few burns to the victims. They also applied Warp Fire in melee, making support fire very effective. Which Warp Fire, I don't know what Warp Fire does. I haven't played around with the Warp Fire throwers too much. I don't know what effect they also place on units when they shoot them, which I think is a dot. Not totally sure. Or if it's a leadership debuff. I think it's a leadership debuff if I remember correctly. But since these guys are later game, these guys are probably 4 or 5. Well, actually, no, these guys are probably 4. Exalted Flamers are 5. I want to go back, but I shouldn't. Exalted Flamers of Tzeentch, just basically better. Powerful ranged attack on the battlefield, including siege weapons. Which tells me these guys might be siegers. Like, they have siege, like, they shoot far. But then again, they say sprays, Warp Fire, and a cone, making them excellent. So it makes it sound like it's fire again, but it's stronger than siege weapons, which isn't a big deal. Low ammunition means you inevitably up in close range. They don't excel, but they will hold their own. Sounds like they are weaker versions than these guys, maybe? But who knows? You might not even recruit these guys because you got the chariot version, which takes their weakness and makes it a strength, which has them on there, but really fast, really good. Now we'll go to Soul Grinder. Basically like Corn's Soul Grinder, but Tzeentch version. Tzeentch just hurls long-range anti-large set of magic spears at any targets, which this is your siege engine, which are going to be there to destroy a tower, a single tower. Magical attacks ensure maximum damage along with armor piercing. I don't know why they did this. That doesn't make sense. Blue, which is cool color. Like, really, guys, you can't say any more. Kind of fuck off. So if you don't know by now, their change I don't know if they've said any more on this, but they were changing how magic resist works. They're changing it from taking all magic damage to just spells. Magic resist will only affect spells, and you'll see in my later videos talking about this, especially leveling up lords and that I will mention. Don't bother with magic resist anymore because it's just going to be counted for spells, which kind of become useless, and just get ward save instead, because that's better, or anything else. You have an extra point to go do something else with it instead of placing a magic resist. Get used to doing that because magic resist is going away, as far as I know. So magical attacks will guarantee damage, and armor piercing just ignores armor. I think armor covers magical damage, but I can't say for sure. I need to re-look that up. But basically, nothing will resist magical attacks. And guess who has all magical attacks? Oh, it's all of Tzeentch's army basically gets magical attacks. So what I'm seeing is this unit is tier 1, tier 2, or tier 1. These guys are either tier 3. These guys minimalist tier 3. Which means if they're able to outdamage a tier 5 unit, they better have no range. They better have 40 range. There's no way they should have good range on these guys. But we don't know because we don't have the exact numbers. We can only theorize. And my theorizing is saying Tzeentch is going to bend Kathy over and have its way. Because honestly, I don't see anything preventing Tzeentch from just going crazy. Tzeentch is way too crazily strong. His campaign mechanics are good. His units sound pretty damn good. We don't have the exact numbers, but they sound really good. If Exalted Pink Horrors aren't good, guess what? Just go for Burning Chariots. And it doesn't even matter if these guys aren't good, because you have a ton of those guys if they're cheap enough. And you have all this magic. You have all this magic here. Honestly, it doesn't matter whether or not these guys are good. It matters that they can outdamage probably Grand Kathy's best range unit. They're tier 5 unit. Which means you probably aren't gonna even, as Grand Kathy, you're probably not even gonna recruit these guys until late game. By the time you already killed Tzeentch, but Tzeentch is probably gonna be running around with these guys. I'm not seeing a balance here like Khorne's army. Khorne's campaign mechanics and his army balance each other out. Because Khorne has no range capabilities, but he does have a lot of things in his campaign that allows him to be viable. Because he can summon random armies, he can do a lot of things. And you can go check out that video where I go more into it. But the thing is like, Tzeentch is just being fed carrots. That's all I'm saying. Nothing here sounds bad. There's potential sticks here, but then again, I'm imagining skinks, but with shields. Like, I'm gonna constantly say that. It's just any basic unit in the game right now with shields. Just throw a barrier on it. How big of a barrier? How big a barrier? As long as it's not over their main HP, that's probably what you're getting. The problem is that they haven't gone more into how barrier is. Me and my friend already predicted that this is what it's going to be like. And they only give us 2 lines. Well, actually, no, it's actually 1 line. They only give us... Actually, it's 2 lines. That line and this line. They give us about barriers that tells us everything we need to know. All the rest of it's fluff. All the rest of it doesn't matter. It just tells me that Tzeentch got a lot of carrots. I barely see any sticks. I don't see any sticks. It's more like Tzeentch is carrying the stick for other races, and he's whacking them with it. Like, all the weaknesses on other races, Tzeentch doesn't have. And if he doesn't have the range with his units, and like an Empire unit can outrange his units, I could say I care less, because hide all those units and go to town with magic. If that's not your playstyle, well, guess what? You don't even have to go all range units. You could legitly go some Forsaken. Those guys have pretty good speed. Doom Knights, Burning Chariots. Let's see. You could probably go Spawn and Tzeentch. Lord of Change, Flamers, Exalted Flamers, if you really feel frisky, and you can go get at least 2 Soul Grinders. Like, I'm looking at this army, and it's just like, cool. Doesn't matter if you don't want to go all in range with Exalted. You can go like a mix. Like, this army can go in with a mix, because at the end of the day, guess what he has that everyone else doesn't have a lot of? Like, every single unit you're going to place in this is going to have magic, and that's what you're going to care about. And that's what's going to win you battles, is the magic, not the army comp. Army comp can help, but magic's going to really help. Anyways, that's me for this, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.